Coming up on Syracuse Unpeeled, Bob Weinstein starts his own production company.
China bans the hit TV show South Park.
Jane Fonda gets arrested at the climate change protests.
And we give you the highlights from the Syracuse International Film Festival.
All that and more coming up on Syracuse Unpeeled.
Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of Unpeeled. I'm Chris Sacchi.
And I'm Meagan Reynolds. We begin tonight with breaking news about AMC. The world's largest movie theater chain steps into the streaming service industry. AMC announced Tuesday that they will be launching AMC Theaters on Demand. The service is being compared structurally to iTunes. It allows members of AMC's loyalty program to rent or buy movies.
AMC's new business venture is the latest blow to Netflix, whose stock has plummeted 23% just in the last 3 months. Now, AMC said they have agreements with, quote, every Hollywood studio, unquote, to make select films available, including new releases. Now, these new releases will be made available after their theatrical run concludes.
And Jeremy Renner's ex-wife, Sonny Pacheco, has accused him of threatening to kill her while under the influence of drugs and alcohol. Pacheco said that Renner both put a gun in his mouth and fired a gun at the ceiling while their 6-year-old daughter was sleeping in her room.
Renner has denied these accusations and says that Pacheco's allegations stem from, quote, psychological problems that amount to, quote, an obsession with demonizing him. Pacheco has been fighting for custody over their daughter, Ava, for the past month. She also said that Renner has a history of verbal, emotional, and substance abuse. Now, the history is something big here with Jeremy Renner. This is just the latest blow, but this marriage ended rocky from the start. Pacheco and Renner divorced after only 10 months, so as much as this is a surprising, pretty crazy story, maybe it's not too surprising. It's just boiling over.
Yeah, especially considering his past incidents. Their nanny came forward and said that he had left a bag of drugs out where their daughter was able to, reach it, and they had divorced in 2014. So the fact that all of this is coming out now in 2019, 5 years later, it's it calls into question a lot of things, what has actually been going on behind the scenes. Yeah,
and we alluded to his history, a slew of offensive jokes in the Black Widow movie character. He even talked to Conan O'Brien about how the fact that he wasn't really, too regretting of what happened about his Black Widow comments. So, I mean, we're not surprised. The gun is, of course, adding a huge element to this, but this is just kind of a long line of things that have happened in this marriage. Yeah,
I know he's supposed to play a role in an upcoming Marvel show on Disney+, and, we're kind of got to wonder, how is Disney going to respond to this? And, could that put his role in jeopardy? So we'll see about that.
Yeah, we'll keep you updated, guys. And another thing that's kind of been in jeopardy is the Weinstein brothers. And first of all, our thoughts are, of course, always with everyone impacted by the story. But Harvey Weinstein's brother, Bob Weinstein, is returning to the producing world. He announced this week that he is starting a new production company called Watch This Entertainment. This is Weinstein's first venture into producing since allegations came out about Harvey in 2017. The longtime Weinstein executive, Pantea Gaderi, will be the company's president of creative development.
Watch This Entertainment says they will focus on family films, comedy, and adult thrillers. The studio intends to release 2 to 3 films each year, and their first movie will be an animated comedy called Endangered. Wow, so this is a lot to unpack. Bob Weinstein, he's been out of the game since, these allegations came out. And according to reports, Bob even played a role in these allegations. And some say he was even an accomplice and should possibly be behind bars himself. So this is a very controversial move on his part.
Yep. Amanda Harrington, who's the VP of Communications at Time's Up, said there would have been no Harvey Weinstein without the complicity of Bob Weinstein. It kind of comes into question why he's back in the industry. Maybe we don't know, of course, if that's the case. This is just one report. But considering everything that has happened, and this is his brother here, too. This is not one of his business associates. It's not his friend. This is blood relative. So
exactly. And he even may have some more trouble coming his way as the Weinstein Company is getting closer to suing him, his brother, and other former directors and executives for their mismanagement of the company and the allegations. So that could be something that he may have to overcome as well.
Yeah, there's also some backlash from the situation for Téa Leoni, who's going to play a role as a producer in this as well.
But in other news, Howard University is also back in the headlines. The university welcomed Kanye West to bring his Sunday service tour to campus last weekend. His performance surprised students who were preparing for homecoming events. In addition to his performance, Kanye also spoke with students about current issues.
Howard University is also in the news for a new program called Howard Entertainment in Amazon Prime, which is bringing the program to the university's curriculum. The university president, Wayne Frederick, says Howard launched this program to, quote, create a one-of-a-kind opportunities in media for African American students. Now, this program will launch next January.
Wow.
I think so. Two different things with Howard.
Yeah.
Let's get to Kanye first. I think that's what Kanye fans and music fans overall kind of want to hear about. A lot of people say this is a walk back from his Trump support, and a lot of the professors at the school did not like him showing his face at Howard.
A lot of them felt that he was, stepping out of line, and a lot of people, some felt this was genuine, others didn't, especially because there is a possible album coming out soon.
Well, that we think. We've been hearing about that for a while, but that's
a lot of people are thinking that, so a lot of people maybe feel he did this out of respect for the school, others not so sure. Yeah,
and he had a very poignant quote from his performance. He said, quote, I was in debt, I was in the mental hospital, I was canceled, but the power belongs to God. As we stand on the lawn of the University of Howard, do I look canceled to you? That's the end of the quote. You'll see it on the board right there. And that kind of maybe hedges me towards the fact that he might have had a little bit more genuineness in his performance, but we'll actually have to wait and see as more kind of backlash comes out. And now we're kind of keeping in music a little bit. The Rock and Roll Hall of Fame ballot has been announced with another stacked lineup this year. Whitney Houston, Notorious B.I.G., 9 Inch Nails, they headline a 16-artist ballot featuring a wide range of acts.
And if you're worried that one of your favorite artists might get snubbed, there's no reason to worry. Fans can vote for their favorite acts to be elected into the Hall of Fame on Google until January, with next year's class getting inducted in May. So this is a big group. This year the New York Post called this group an eclectic bunch of nominees, citing their styles ranging from jam bands to glam rockers, even to hip-hop royalty. So this is an interesting lineup. And another interesting fact is that these artists would have had to release either first single or album before 1994. So that's before even you and I were born. That's a long time ago.
It is a little bit before our time, so the votes will be skewed more towards an older audience. But I think it's interesting. We have the Doobie Brothers on here, which I'm surprised is even still on the ballot, considering that they said we should have been on there a long time ago. They said, quote, our band has definitely been around long enough, made enough hits, noise-wise, given a lot of people a lot of pleasure, and is still out there doing it. And so I think I kind of agree. They've been doing this for a while. They're still making music to this day. I'll be casting my votes for them in this future.
Same here. But, the 2020 Rock and Roll Hall of Fame induction ceremony is actually going to be held in public auditorium in Cleveland, Ohio this year. So that's definitely something that fans are going to want to tune in on. Also, tune in when we come back. South Park gets censored over an episode about censorship. Find out why the Chinese government has cracked down on South Park next on Unpeeled.
Here's your check. Oh, you got it. Since I got rid of my car, I really enjoy walking.
Okay. Got it. No.
Getting pulled over for buzz driving could cost you around $10,000 in fines, legal fees, and increased insurance rates.
Oh, you're home early.
You live with your mom?
That'll set your game back a few years. Buzzed, busted, and broke. Because buzz driving is drunk driving.
Well, Thomas, you've got pre-diabetes. But with more exercise and a change in diet, it can be reversed.
I've tried exercising. It just makes me hungry for bacon.
I love bacon, too. And who really likes to exercise?
Not me.
Me neither.
Nobody. So we're good?
What? Oh, you still have pre-diabetes. Big time.
Welcome back, Unpeelers. Tensions between the NBA and the Chinese government are continuing to grow. In the week since the Houston Rockets general manager, Daryl Morey, tweeted out a message supporting freedom in Hong Kong. China has pushed back hard since this and its criticism of Morey. and it's created a complicated situation for players, coaches, and executives. Unpeeled's very own sports reporter Mason Horodisky is here now to report on the current status of this dilemma, with tip-off just a week away. Mason, take it away for us.
Thanks, Meg. One of the more polarizing stories in the past week that directly affects American culture isn't even happening because of an American politician or even on American soil. Instead, the NBA of all organizations has caused a firestorm with the United States' relationship with China. This came after Houston Rockets general manager Daryl Morey came out in favor of the recent pro-democratic protests in Hong Kong. In response, the Chinese government would voice their displeasure with the NBA by pulling NBA merchandise from stores, removing advertisements from billboards, and even canceling media availability for a Brooklyn Nets-Los Angeles Lakers preseason game in Shanghai. So, did the NBA fight back? Well, some figures like Golden State Warriors head coach Steve Kerr and then San Antonio Spurs head coach Greg Popovich voiced their support for both Hong Kong, the demonstrations, and for Morey. But arguably the most important figure that the NBA has, Commissioner Adam Silver, appears to have taken a non-stance on the matter as he understands the literal billions of dollars at stake that the Chinese market provides for his league. So, the question remains, should the NBA, who has always been known in years past to not be afraid to express their political opinions, continue to stay silent to appease China and even go as far to kick out their own fans? With pro-Hong Kong signs in, of all places, the nation's capital at a Washington Wizards game, business-wise, this could make sense, but from a moral standpoint, that's where things start to get shady.
Mason, great stuff. Thanks for filling everyone in. Now the questions come. You talked about the billions of dollars at stake. Why is this so important that it's in China of all places?
Well, in one word, money. Look, it doesn't matter if it's the dollar bill or if it's the yuan. As long as it's lining the NBA's pockets, expect them to continue to do exactly what the Chinese government wants them to do. They have the second biggest market in the world when it comes to basketball and an audience that rivals that even of the United States. At the end of the day, if that remains, expect them to continue to do exactly what they've been doing.
Yeah. So where does the NBA go from here? Just what, in your opinion, what do you know? Give us a little bit of what we can look forward to.
Well, if they continue to do what they've been doing, you can only expect fan support to continue to dwindle. You just had 2 days ago now LeBron James, NBA superstar, come out and say that he thought that Daryl Morey's comments were uneducated, came off as really condescending. And when a guy like LeBron James, who has had a squeaky clean public reputation in the past, has fans start to sour on him, that's when the NBA should start getting worried.
Yeah, LeBron is their moneymaker, as is China. Big situation here. You're right, tip-off only a week away, so a lot to unpack. Thanks so much, Mason, for all your insight. And now the NBA is not the only brand in China having trouble over there, as the Chinese government completely deleted the hit comedy South Park from the country's internet and social media sites. This action comes after the latest episode, titled Banned in China, took shots at the Chinese government's practice of censoring critical and satirical content. We have our own TV reporter, Carissa D'Agostino. She's here to tell us the aftermath of China's actions. Carissa, thanks so much for coming down, and let's continue with China here.
Yeah, what exactly happened?
Basically what happened was the episode Banned in China got banned in China. They touched on things like the government suppressing people, the growing protests in Hong Kong, and the Hollywood industry and how they try to avoid getting censored by China. Obviously, that didn't do too well with the Chinese government. They completely removed it from all online services, all streaming services, and television in general.
Okay, so did they apologize? Do they want to get back on? How do we go from here?
I would call it an unapologetic response. It was a tweet by the show's creators, and it said, like the NBA, we welcome Chinese censors in our home and into our hearts. We too love money more than freedom and democracy.
Wow.
Zai doesn't look like Winnie the Pooh at all. Tune into our 300th episode this Wednesday at 10. Long live the great Communist Party of China. May the autumn surhung harvest be bountiful. We good now, China? ?
Wow.
So
that's fiery.
It was a little sarcasm. Yeah. I sensed it a little bit.
Wow, that was very intentional on their part. And that was kind of nicely timed with their 300th episode coming up. I don't know, that might have been very premeditated. But how have the people in Hong Kong responded to this?
So the people in Hong Kong who are protesting actually look at the show as almost appreciative of it. They've been showing it at secret locations. They've had it in the streets during the protests. They like that they had somebody speaking out against what China's doing in Hong Kong.
So has China banned anything else now since then?
Well, like they mentioned in the tweet, they banned Winnie the Pooh because people were comparing the Chinese president to Winnie the Pooh. The lovable character is no longer available in China. And then also DJ Zed got banned this week for actually liking a tweet of South Park tweeting about the 300th episode.
Wow.
Oh,
Yes.
wow.
A lot of banning going on.
A lot of
Banned in-
banning.
The irony is too good with banned in China and it's banned.
It was a lot.
But coming up, Unpeeled's film reporter attended the Syracuse International Film Festival.
Find out what an Academy Award nominee had to say about the up-and-coming filmmakers in Syracuse next on Unpeeled. Welcome back, Unpeelers. The annual Syracuse International Film Festival returned this past weekend. Films from over 20 countries hit the big screen at the Red House Arts Center in downtown Syracuse. Academy Award nominee Richard Rush and actor Daniel Baldwin highlighted those in attendance and some up-and-coming filmmakers right here in the Syracuse area. Unpeeled's film reporter Andrew Goldberg had a chance to attend the festival on Saturday and capture some of its highlights. Let's check it out.
The annual Syracuse International Film Festival returned to the Red House Arts Center this weekend for a celebration of film and filmmakers. Many young directors used the platform as an opportunity to promote their work, along with veterans like Academy Award-nominated director Richard Rush, who commented on the joy of watching under-the-radar films.
You expect the really great films to be gobbled up immediately by greedy people, you know, and if they're not, then the sense of discovery that you have the privilege of making yourself.
Thanks to the Syracuse Film Festival, audiences could receive that same sense of discovery.
Wow. Andrew, that's right up your alley. You must have been having a blast getting those interviews with them, Mike. That was incredible. Thanks for that.
Of course, it was fantastic.
I can't even imagine how awesome that must have been. I'm actually a little jealous myself. But so why did all these filmmakers decide to come to Syracuse?
So the Syracuse International Film Festival provides an opportunity for filmmakers with roots in the Syracuse area to show off their films, and it's really a great opportunity. I mean, if you're a young filmmaker who was born and raised here, it makes Syracuse a pretty attractive destination for a place to show off your film. And luckily, I had the opportunity to speak with some young writers and directors who were born and raised here. And they told me that they're all really committed to growing the film community in this area so that others in the future can have the same opportunity that they did. And one of those people includes Alec Baldwin's brother, Daniel Baldwin.
Wow, that's awesome.
It was pretty cool seeing him live, and he actually said that his family has the largest legacy in Syracuse history.
Wow.
So he's committed to staying here.
You talked to some people. What were some of the most exciting projects that you stumbled upon?
Well, there are really a lot of interesting projects to choose from, including Calvin Wang's documentary about a Syracuse Crunch player's trouble with his health, and also Yasmin Mystery's animated series about the lives of foster children in the Syracuse area. But again, Daniel Baldwin's project really stood out to me. His upcoming documentary, My Promise to PJ, details his attempt to reach out to a young man in rehab so he can fulfill his lifelong dream of running with the Bulls. So look for that one when it comes out.
That's incredible. Incredible stuff. Thank you so much, Andrew.
Of course.
That sounds awesome. But while some actors attended the film festival, others attended protests. Jane Fonda was arrested last Friday for civil disobedience outside the Capitol building. Fonda was part of a climate change protest when police took her away in handcuffs. Upon release, Fonda said she will join the protesters every week to ensure that climate change awareness remains in the public eye. Unpeeled pop culture reporter Katie Lane is here to discuss what led up to Fonda's arrest. Katie, thanks for being here tonight. This is a wild story.
I know, it really is. It's pretty crazy.
Yeah, so what went down? Let us know.
Alrighty, so Jane Fonda was arrested on Friday on the steps of the U.S. Capitol building. It was pretty crazy. She was protesting against climate change. She is one of 16 people that was arrested for unlawfully protesting or demonstrating. She wanted to use her fame and popularity to take a stand and make a change. So we've actually seen a lot of celebrities doing this lately. Leonardo DiCaprio, George Clooney, even Amy Schumer. They've been using their platforms to fight for what they believe in and hopefully make a change. Fonda actually hopes that her arrest will inspire lawmakers to take action.
Awesome. So did her arrest come as a surprise to people, or was she expecting that?
I was kind of shocked how surprised people were, because she did announce ahead of time that she would be protesting. She moved all the way to Washington, D.C. to help with the climate protests and hopefully make a change. But even if she didn't let the public know ahead of time in the Washington Post, she's been an activist for quite some time now. So she participated in the 1960s civil rights movement, and she was a vocal opponent in the Vietnam War and supported the Black Panthers.
Wow, she's had a pretty big resume
Yes.
of being an activist. So given that resume, though, is this the end, or will this arrest kind of not stop her on her plan?
She's not stopping. She's not going anywhere. Like you said, she's going to be coming back for the next 14 Fridays, same place, same time, 11 o'clock on the U.S. Capitol steps. So she's not going anywhere.
Very nice for her. Kind of keeping it up despite being arrested on the Capitol steps. That's pretty incredible stuff. Thank you so much, Katie Lane, for coming down. And well, actually, let's a little bit more. Katie, kind of give us a little bit more of a scoop now that you got the insider here.
Sure. So basically what this whole event is, it's called Fire Drill Friday. So she and her fellow protesters are going to engage in civil disobedience, get arrested every Friday. She's going to be joined by different groups like Greenpeace, Friends of the Earth, and Oil Change International. So they're going to tackle a different issue every week.
Very nice. So she's not stopping at all. Katie, thanks so much. After the break, though, an exclusive interview with an up-and-coming sports company.
We'll sit down with the founders of LFG Sports next on Syracuse Unpeeled.
I see you mobbing over her. Let's go. Let's mob. Let's crawl. Let's crawl. Let's crawl. Hey, yo, we mobbing. Come on, girl. Let's crawl. Hey, yo, let's crawl. Hey, yo, let's crawl. Hey, let's crawl. Hey, yo, let's crawl.
Look at you. You're at the top of your game. You're unstoppable. Nothing can throw you off track. Wait, is that your car? Uh-oh. Yeah, I saw that coming. That will throw you off track. You're looking at around 10 grand in fines, legal fees, and increased insurance rates. Let's try this again. Smart move. Because buzz driving is drunk driving.
This is the story of a boy who didn't talk for a long time. The boy liked things to always be the same. Any changes would scare and upset him. The unknown was an unfriendly place. The boy was very sensitive to lights and sounds. So he built secret hiding places where they couldn't get in. The boy didn't like looking people in the eye. He wasn't trying to be mean, it just made him feel uncomfortable. Sometimes he would flap his arms again and again.
One day, I found out I have something called autism. My family got me help. Slowly, I found my voice and learned all the ways I could live with it better.
Early intervention can make a lifetime of difference. Learn the signs at autismspeaks.org.
Welcome back, Unpeeler. So today we're going to be sitting down with LFG Sports, which is a news company devoted to providing the best fan content in sports. The company has taken the Syracuse area by storm.
And these guys are here to talk about it with us, their mission, their recent success. Here's CEO Griffin Whitman and COO Josh Berenson. Guys, thanks so much for joining us tonight.
Thanks for having us.
Let's get right into it. How did it start, and where did the idea come from to create the sports company?
It kind of started 2 summers ago. I was working in Syracuse by myself and had a lot of time to really think, and I was kind of just pondering on this gap in the sports industry. And then I went out in the fall and I worked my capstone in Chicago, and I learned all about just how the sport industry works, media, events, marketing, sponsorship. And I traveled a lot on the weekends. I went to like 10 different cities over the weekends, different events all over the country. Got back and sat down with Josh, who's an entrepreneur, and my roommate, and we kind of went top to bottom with all these ideas and decided, let's go for it.
Wow, that's really awesome. So what does make LFG different from other sports content companies?
So we really focus on providing the best fan content in sports, and while other sports media companies might show fan content, they're showing it and supplementing it with what they already post. We are really focused on just the fan content itself, and also just our story in general. I mean, someone can go out and do what we do, but they can't be us, they can't replicate us, they can't be our brand.
Yeah, and you talked about you have something to say, go ahead.
Like the other thing is like similar to that is just like all these other companies focus on what actually happens on the field, and that's less important to us and more about what's happening around the field, in the stands, at the bars, at the tailgates. So.
Yeah, you talked about the gap. Yeah, it's different. You talked about the gap in sports coverage. Is that it? The fan experience, and what about that do you really want to highlight?
It's certainly it. Like, there's no one going after, and it's just everywhere you go, it doesn't matter what city you're in, where in the country, what college town, it's just the fans are devoted to sports, and every fan base is so unique, and it's so cool to be a part of each one and kind of hear what makes each one go and what are the different traditions and passions driving it.
That's really awesome. So what does LFG stand for? Like, where does that come from?
The million-dollar question. So LFG, it's an acronym, it's a brand. It has 3 different parts of it. There's Live for the Game, which is kind of the aspect of just growing up, loving to play sports. There's Let's Go, which is a little bit of what it means, what it embodies being a fan in the biggest moment. It's like college professional, that's kind of the go-to term. A lot of athletes have been branding lately. And then Life Feels Great, kind of all the travel and parts of this company that you get to experience, the food, the travel, the people and stuff, that just life feels great.
That's, I love that.
That is great. What you talked about the travel that you did. You've been around different fan bases in sports. What was maybe your top 1 or 2, your favorites that you've been to so far?
I would definitely say the best sporting event I've ever been to in my life, and I got the opportunity to do this through LFG, was the summer we went to the Home Run Derby. And we sat in left field, which was just home run territory. So we had actually Vladimir Guerrero hit a home run off a couple of our signs, and it was an absolute bloodbath out there. People were fighting for balls, and it was a crazy experience.
Yeah, that was awesome. I don't know, probably my favorite might have been just this weekend. We just started really diving into our Big Ten tour, and Wisconsin, Madison's just such a special college town, and it's just it's just awesome for college football. Like, everyone comes out, it doesn't matter how old you are, and just student section's awesome. So Madison, Wisconsin's an awesome place, probably one of my favorites.
That's awesome. You guys probably are going to get to have so many adventures, but where do you see this company going in the next 5 years, where do you want to take it?
That's a big question. That's kind of the one. You probably got this a lot, but 5-year plan if you have one.
So I mean, the answer is to the moon. But in years 1 and 2, we were really focused on kind of just stockpiling our content, really understanding our identity, and growing a following. And then as we grow, we want to kind of work towards partnerships with the leagues and really supplement them to kind of cover and capture a lot of the audience that they can't cover because of how they kind of position themselves.
Yeah, and we kind of are using these first couple years as just a scouting report. Like, we are 22 years old. We have a team of, I don't know, about 15 people who are 20, 21, 22-year-olds, positive, eager people, and we're at a really special time in the world where there's this like transition from old media to new media, which gives us the opportunity to go out and not need anyone else and just do it. So we're just going to go out, scout out, see how the sport industry really works from our perspective, and years 4, 5, 10, 15, I don't know. We just want to build something special, and we know we're pretty confident in what we're doing.
Excellent. So how do we support? How do we get merch? How do we follow on social media? Give us all the tags that we can go to here.
Follow LFG Sports on Instagram, on Facebook, Twitter, everything. Definitely, I mean, the biggest thing we ask in support is like, this is a homegrown Syracuse community, Syracuse company, and it's built at Syracuse through Syracuse students, through Syracuse professors helping and advising. So just spread the word, keep talking about it, post it on social media. But it's just, we're doing as much as we can, and just to get this whole community rallied around us, like that's what we really need.
That's the name of the game.
You heard them.
Yeah, thanks so much, guys. LFG Sports, you heard them. Name that spread around the Syracuse community, homegrown. That's all the time we have this week. I'm Chris Sacchi.
And I'm Meagan Reynolds. Thank you, and good night, Syracuse.